So Landon, obviously, congratulations on securing the second place home playoff and everything that has gone into that achievement in this regular season. But moving into these next two games, one at home and one away, what is your game plan as far as resting players, rotation, or do you want to keep that momentum going with some players like Jack Blake and how he's going? What's your mentality and what's the game plan with Nate with that?
It's a mix of all that. So first and foremost, you want to be healthy going into the playoffs, but it's also important to be playing well and having continuity. So it'll be a mix of all of that. Some guys will get minutes in the next couple games that haven't had a ton of minutes just to get them going and keep them fit. Some guys, if they have any physical issues, we'll be really smart with. But then also we want the team playing well as we go into the first playoff game. So it's going to be a mix of all that.
How is playing early in the season that Open Cup? I know we spoke about that knockout type play where it's a one game, one and done. Moving into these playoffs, obviously you have some experience with this group. How do you feel they're prepared in order to use some of that experience that they had earlier in the season moving into those playoffs?
Yeah, it's a good question. The more experience you have in those types of games, the better. It is totally different than a regular season. So, a regular season game, you can play well, lose the game, and there's still things to build on and keep getting better at. But it's a totally different feeling. Fear sets in, of course, with all teams when you could lose. So, having that experience last year, as painful as it was, helped us a lot. A couple Open Cup games have helped. There are a number of guys here who have been through this in other clubs, and all those experiences help. And it's really hard to win unless you have a number of guys who have experienced those things. So we're getting closer and closer to having a lot of guys who know what that's like.
And then with obviously this regular season and the season in general getting closer to the end, it's now the third season of you as a coach manager. What have you learned in this last year with about yourself, about your own coaching style, and what has this team taught you?
Well, there's a lot, but I think the biggest thing I've learned is the value of continuity. So having probably 12 or 13 guys back from last year, there's so much value in not having to start over all the time. And I think people get infatuated with what they don't have, and you take for granted what you do have. And so I've learned more and more that having guys who have played together, understand each other, is really valuable. And you'll take that even if you had options of more talented players to bring in. It's still better to have the continuity. And we're fortunate we have both. We have the continuity and we have really high quality players. So that's what's led to a really successful year so far.
What do you consider your squad's biggest achievement this year, and have we seen the best of this team so far?
We've had glimpses of the best. When we do all of the little things well, meaning all of our set pieces are good, we're good on attacking defensive throw-ins, we press well, our counter pressing is very good. We can beat anybody, home or away, anybody in the league. The other side of that is when we don't do those things, we can lose to anybody. And so our guys are very, very aware of that. I think the biggest achievement this year has been, one, the number of chances we've created, and two, then capitalizing and scoring the goals. It's hard. The hardest thing to do is to score goals and score goals consistently. And we're still a new club, but we take a lot of pride in the way we play. We think it's part of the reason why we have the number of fans and the atmosphere we have at our game, including a sellout this weekend. And we take a lot of pride in that. So we're all very proud of that.
One home game here in the regular season and the home playoff. What does this mean for the team themselves, the players? What are they saying in the
Yeah,
locker room as far as being able to play in front of their fans in such a way?
they're really excited. It was, knowing this game is sold out is going to be awesome. Knowing the first playoff game is definitely at home, and then the carrot being dangled there too is that if you win that game, you get a second playoff game at home. And then after that, if you win that game, there's a chance you could have another playoff game at home. So the guys love playing at Torero. It will be a massive advantage for us, and most of the guys are just really excited.
Perfect. Thank you.
Thanks, Tony.